Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Gio and I'm here for the match review of Sampdoria against AC Milan. Match that was played earlier today at the Ferraris in Genoa. The Blue Cerchiati won the match 2-0 thanks to goals coming in from Duvan Zapata and Ricky Alvarez. A very disappointing show for the Rossoneri. Really unexpected loss, I guess you could say, coming into this game, even though I did mention yesterday that Milan were going to encounter some problems given Sampdoria's perfect run so far in the Serie A, still undefeated in 5 games, even though they have picked up a couple of draws in between, but they're still undefeated, and they're one of the only teams left in the Serie A to do so. But let's speak about this game, because I'm very disappointed, not only with the loss, but how Milan came out to play today. In my opinion, there was just no urgency, no determination from any of the players. Really, the lack of will to even play in this game was so evident from the start. Milan was losing a lot of balls, a lot of miscontrolled passes. The possession was not what you were expecting, like we had seen in previous games with Milan, and overall things just weren't running smoothly at all for us today. So many mistakes, especially in the midfield, and defensively as well. Really a lot of poor marking, poor decisions, poor everything. From start till the end, I wasn't impressed whatsoever. And like I mentioned on Twitter, it seems like the curse of these early matches, or as they call them in Italy, the lunchtime matches, continues to play a part for Milan, because simply we are never capable of winning these games. I don't know what it is, but every time we have these early matches, we always seem to shit the bed, I guess you could say, for a lack of another expression. But really, there's nothing to take out of this match. And what's even more embarrassing is that if you take a look at the actual full-time statistics, you will see that Milan couldn't even take a shot on target. For me, this is a massive, massive problem. Not only because we are playing against Sampdoria, a team in which we should be superior to, at least on paper we are, and like Fasole mentioned, we cannot lose games against teams that are inferior than us. But to not even record a shot on target, to me, it's just embarrassing. Pure, plain embarrassing. I don't care who you're playing, if you're playing against Juventus or you're playing against Benevento. For a team not to record a shot on target, that just speaks volumes of the type of performance they really had today. And it needs to be said, it was really a big-time lackluster performance from Milan today. There's really no defending anyone. From defense to forwards, I wasn't impressed whatsoever. And I'm sure a lot of you guys that actually woke up for this match, especially if you were living in North America like I am, it was just really a game that was going to put you to bed, and that's exactly what we saw today. But let's speak about individuals, because I want to have a little run through the players' performances in this game, and I want to start off with the defense. Yesterday, I stressed over the fact about a million times during that preview that I was not happy seeing Duvan Zapata in that starting lineup, and I repeated it over and over again. You know, this is not 2015 anymore. This is not 2016 anymore. We have bought players to replace that dead wood of guys like Bonera, Zapata, and so forth. But yet again, we still see Zapata playing. Why is this the case? Okay, there's the whole discussion regarding the rotation. Musacchio needs rest. Next week we are playing 2 important games, one in the Europa League, and then on the weekend we're playing against Roma. But enough with the bullshit, guys. You know, a guy like Zapata, we can not have him on the team. We cannot have him on the team because it's enough. It's enough seeing these mistakes over and over again, you know? Like I said, we put up with this shit for years. It's enough seeing this guy even playing games, guys. And I said it. It's like you're shooting yourself in the foot when you see this guy starting in the starting lineup, okay? I don't care if it's not only him, the mistakes being made. Yes, Bonucci did not have a good performance as well. As for a captain, he should be having better performances himself. This is not Juventus anymore, where you got guys like Chiellini and Barzagli by your sides covering your ass even though you're making mistakes. This is Milan, a team that's still in transition mode, with guys like Romagnoli that is very young, and he's prone to make mistakes as well. A guy like Musacchio that's new to the league and will be making mistakes again as well. And then you got guys that have more experience in quotations but still shit the bed every week they play. Guys like Christian Zapata. So to me, you know, giving a goal like that is just very amateur of Zapata. You know, you cannot head the ball to one of your opponents when you're a meter away from the net. Come on, like, how are you even a professional making these types of mistakes? It's not the first time. It won't be the last time we will be seeing these mistakes from Zapata. And like I said, I'm not only criticizing him, but why is it the case that we have guys even like Paletta on the bench, let alone the fact that you want to rest Musacchio? I don't care if you want to rest Musacchio, but you have a guy like Paletta, which to me has been proven. Yes, he picked up 5 red cards last year, but the guy is better than Zapata. Why are we not playing Paletta instead of Zapata if we want to give Musacchio a rest? Then you got guys like Gustavo Gomez that, yes, he's not the best as well, but he's kept at home. He doesn't even make it to the list to appear on the bench. To me, this is complete nonsense. I just don't understand the logic over it. Yes, you want to argue about experience? Sure, put it in. But experience really has nothing to do with quality. Look at Boneta, for example. The guy was playing his whole life, and everyone just wanted to shoot themselves in the head every time they saw him in the starting lineup. Same thing with Zapata. Guys, 2015, 2016, these are years that are supposed to be far gone. We cannot keep these guys on the team. I don't care if they're on the bench. I don't care if they're playing. I don't want to see this guy play ever again for Milan, okay? Enough with these stupid amateurish mistakes. This is professional football, and you're playing for a team like AC Milan. That's the team you're playing for. You're not even playing for Benevento, okay? Maybe these mistakes, with all due respect to these teams, could be acceptable in teams like Crotone, Benevento, Spal, whatever the case is. These mistakes could be acceptable. But for a team like Milan, I don't want to see this shit at all, okay? And I think I have every reason to complain about these types of mistakes right now in Milan, especially after investing so much money in the team. As for the midfield, the main discussion, once again, is Kessie not getting enough rest, not getting enough this, not getting enough that. And I could understand we don't have a proper backup for Kessie, but to me, it's not like Kessie is labeled as the midfield general. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kessie's name does not compose the midfield. There's 4 other players in that midfield. Ricardo Rodriguez, we saw today. Bonaventura, Billa, and Abate. Abate, once again, another guy with experience, but to me, it's really a dead body on the field almost. No joke, from what we were used to 5-6 years ago, this guy just doesn't have it anymore. But anyways, let alone that, Kessie's not the only guy there. You know, Billa today, I'm not saying that he had a bad performance, because, you know, it was okay, it was average, but he did lose a lot of balls, especially in that first half, where usually you're supposed to be a bit more concerned, or at least, you know, look around yourself and be a bit more aware. That's the real word I was searching for, of what's around you, you know. And many times, I don't know if it was just lack of communication with the other players around him, but he did lose a lot of balls, and I think we risked a number of times in that first half. Then Bonaventura, just in general today, I think Milan simply did not create anything, and that reflects on the fact that we had 0 shots on target. So it's very difficult to even give an evaluation to these types of players that really we didn't create much. It was just half chances all the time. So, you know, I cannot really give a proper rating to these guys. But given the lack of chances that we created, you could pretty much say that the performance from the team in general was very, very shit, frankly speaking. Up front, Suso and Kalinic, a lot of people are still speaking about this fact that Suso is not playing in this position, which I understand, and I did say over the past few weeks that it will take time for Suso to adapt to that position. And I think, it makes him have a bit more space. I think it could generate him a lot more space, given that he has a more free position behind Kalinic rather than just sticking on the right flank. But I think the only guy that was actually trying a bit more than others today was Kalinic. He had some decent chances himself. Once again, nothing on target, but at least he was pressuring the defenders every time Milan was off the ball, and he was trying to create something for himself a bit. But once again, no support from the rest of his teammates there. Like I said, generally, guys, I'm very, very disappointed with this performance. Not just with the result, because I could understand losing games. Losing games, it's gonna happen. We already saw it twice so far in 6 games in the Serie A for Milan, and technically speaking, we will be seeing it again this season. Like, that's for sure. There's no way Milan are gonna go undefeated from now on until the end. So we will be seeing other losses, that's for sure. So, not to be negative or anything, but that's the truth. That's the reality. So, like I said, losses may come in, but losing in this fashion against a team that's supposed to be inferior than us is completely unacceptable. And I think what Fasone said, that, we kind of had some alarm or a talk with the players and the staff after the game, telling them, we cannot afford to lose games like this. We need more urgency, more determination when we play. We need to have a fully dominant performance. These are types of things that, a sporting director or whoever in the staff needs to do in order to ensure that this does not happen again. We are Milan, guys. We cannot, especially after investing all that money in the team, already picking up 2 losses in 6 games, where your main priority, your main goal is to make it to the Champions League. And I saw actually a very interesting tweet on Twitter from Marcello, the AC Milan club Montreal president, saying, if we want to make it to the Champions League, we cannot afford more than 8 losses, 7, 8 losses, and that's already asking for a lot due to the very high competition that we could see in the Serie A this season, with so many teams that will be battling for those top 4 spots. Juventus, Napoli, which are pretty much guaranteed 1 and 2 in my opinion, and then you got teams like Roma, Inter, Lazio, Milan, and there might be even others out there battling for those remaining spots. So the competition is very, very hard this season, and everyone's going to want to make those top 4 positions. You cannot afford to lose this amount of games this early on in the season, because yes, it is a very long season, anything could happen, but I would have personally been happy with a draw today, given the way that the game was going. I would have been satisfied with a 0-0, because I saw that Milan was simply doing nothing at all today. And I told myself, if we walk away with at least 1 point in this game, it's not going to be so bad after all, given the way that we are playing and the way that Sampdoria was generating chance after chance at one point. One thing I did not mention, though, is Montella, and I know a lot of you guys want me to speak about him as well. Montella, I understand his tactics. I understand a lot of people are frustrated with his tactics, and I completely agree with that. The change of formation is acceptable. I understand, which is already a step forward, given the fact that he was so fixated on the idea of the 4-3-3. But, you need to play the right personnel in the right places as well. And I'm sorry, Montella, you cannot make substitutions in the 78th minute when you are behind 1 goal. A manager that wants to win a game, to win a match, will make the substitutions as soon as he sees that there's problems with his team. Today, we saw those problems from very early moments, and even given the fact that it was 0-0 at halftime, you go into that locker room, you speak to your players trying to change something in their mentality or in their playing style, and you see even around the 65th, 70th minute, I'm not even saying earlier than that, but you see around those minutes that nothing, 0 has changed for your team. you're forced to make substitutions, Montella. You cannot wait until the 78th minute where you are already trailing by a goal in the game to throw in some weapons or some hope to score goals. You cannot just do that. You need to make the changes when you already see the problems are there. You know, Montella, it's very easy to make these substitutions after a goal was conceded, trying to change something, trying to put more attacking options to try to get that equalizer. It doesn't work like that. You need to change the problems as soon as you see the problem. You need to fix those problems, okay? And why were the substitutions not made beforehand? It's not the first time we see this from Montella. He needs to evaluate these ideas of his, because to me, it's very stupid to just wait until an event occurred in the match to change the personnel on your team. That's just completely unacceptable. So Montella needs to reevaluate that as well, and he needs to get clearer ideas. I don't know, maybe Fasone or other people in the staff could help him out with this, but in general, in my opinion, if you see the problem, try to fix it and not wait until the last 10 minutes, throwing in 3 new players, hoping that they will score and save your day. This doesn't work like that, you know, and it's not only Montella, you know, this is something that we have seen for years and years with Milan. All these negative years that we've seen with Milan, how many times have we seen the coach's mentality being like that? It's just so frustrating. And to be honest, guys, you know, I'm not down for another season of stupidness from these coaches or from anyone. You know, Milan is supposed to revive this season. They're supposed to have a positive campaign after so much money was invested in this team. Not to talk about keeping Andre Silva on the bench, because I don't want to start a whole other argument right now, but you need to make better decisions for yourself as a coach. You cannot afford to be so, you know, just lackluster with your ideas, for lack of other words. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's really, he's fixated on a certain approach. That's what it appears to me, and he doesn't want to change it. And that, to me, guys, is a big, big problem. Anyways, I want to know what you guys think about the match, what your thoughts were about this performance. I know there's probably a lot of negative comments in the discussion right now, but I really want to see what you guys' thoughts are, and I'm very interested. So, let's see what you guys say here. Lagarto27, he says, unbelievable, bad formation, bad performance, bad coach, bad decisions. Hopefully we could return to the 4-3-3 formation. We need to change formation and we got no shots on target. Linus Warg says we need to start with 2 in the front with Kalinic and Silva or Crotone, which could be a good solution. The Polio 1990 says AC Milan should be competing in the Champions League, not struggling in mid-table in Serie A. Well, to be honest, right now, I don't think we're anywhere near competing in the Champions League at all. So, I would, you know, I understand, yes, as a name, Milan is supposed to be playing in the Champions League and have completely other things going on for them at the moment, but that's definitely not the case for us right now, even though all these players were bought. Pixflix says, I won't say Montella out, but this was like sore to your soul. I've defended this guy for ages and I still get let down. I'm fed up. He needs to wake up, he says. Olufemi says, I think there's just one more purchase we need to make. A truly world-class coach and not this rubbish Montella. He's responsible for the team selections and the blame must be put on him. Completely agree with that. Christy says, Gio, I hope we win the Europa League because we are not finishing the top 4. What do you think? I think it's going to be very difficult for Milan to finish in the top 4, despite the fact that, you know, we made all these acquisitions and we are still hoping for the best turnout. But like I said, there's just so much competition going on in the Serie A this season with Roma, Lazio, Inter out there, you know, all very much being competitive this season, if not even more than last season's. It's going to be very tough. So that might be the only route, really, maybe to the Champions League. But like I said, it's still very early. 2 losses in the season right now might seem like a lot in 6 games, but we just have to regroup. And I think a lot of people, not only the coach, but players as well, need to reevaluate themselves. They need to take a good look at themselves and try to figure out really what's wrong with them and why we are not capable of beating teams like Sampdoria, which, once again, with all due respect, they're a great team. I think today they deserve the win, but we are Milan and we are supposed to do way better than this. Gassan says we need to start Andre Silva. Actex S says no, the 3-5-2 doesn't work because our right and left backs are not doing anything and Suso doesn't work in that central position. Well, it's exactly what I said before. Suso in that central position, it might be something that he needs to adapt to. I don't know if he will adapt to it, but technically speaking, gives him more space. But I think he's maybe a bit better on that flank than anything else. So maybe we could even switch to a 4-4-2 formation where we have the certainty of 2 strikers up front. The defense is solidified with another addition instead of playing 3 at the back, and we still could have, a pretty strong midfield. Maybe Suso playing as a right mid and Bonaventura playing as a left mid, or Çalhanoğlu, and we could see Kessie with Bigia in that middle there. That's just an opinion of a formation that we could also play with. Some more comments before I sign off. Pixflix also says, Ancelotti back is my dream. Hopefully he gets fired at Bayern and returns. If Montella were to go now, we do an Inter and get a shitty coach like Pioli or Sousa. Linus also says Akan needs to start. I think he does. I think every time he comes off from the bench, he always gives that positive energy to the team. He's always, he always brings out the quality in him and shows good things every time he steps on the field. We saw him playing against Austria Vienna as a starter, and we saw what he did. He was capable of getting assists left and right, scoring goals. So yeah, definitely I could see guys like Çalhanoğlu getting a starting role. Even Cutrone today when he came on, I think he was very determined to get something back for the Rossoneri. But these are decisions that you need to make as a manager. You need to evaluate how the players are during the week. And at the same time, you cannot make too many changes every week. Because how many times did we see that in the past seasons where Montella, not only Montella, but also other coaches would change that starting 11 every damn week. And how many times did we see us having problems as players were not familiar or they were not used to each other, given the constant change every week. So, Montella needs to, like I said, not only him, also the players, they need to evaluate themselves and take a very good look at what they could improve and how they could bring this team back to where they belong. And also, against Spal, I spoke about it yesterday in the preview. We won 2-0, but the performance was as well very, very embarrassing. Against Spal, to win with 2 penalty shots, the performance was not good enough. We had a lot more shots, of course, in this game, but everything needs to change. We need more urgency, more determination, and if this team wants to bring it back to where we were, the Champions League, we're going to have to do way better. And another thing that I wanted to point out, and I still didn't speak about it, is that it seems so far this season, at least from what I've seen, every time we face an opposition which is worthy, I guess you could say, like we saw with Lazio and Sampdoria that I think are doing a very good job so far this season, still undefeated like I mentioned, we always run into trouble. Every time this happens. I don't know what it is, but to me, it's a sign that this team is still not ready. And it's still in the building process. That's for sure. But it's fine beating the lower table teams like Cagliari, Crotone, and all these teams. But we're gonna face a lot of tough tests in the month of October. We're facing Roma next weekend. Then there's the game against Inter. So we will be facing a lot of tough tests. Genoa as well is another tough one. And I think that month of October, is going to have to be impeccable for Milan if they really want a shot at the Champions League, to qualify for the Champions League for next season. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for this match review. Once again, the final score, Sampdoria 2, AC Milan 0. Goals coming in from Duvan Zapata and Ricky Alvarez. If you guys are not yet subscribed to Rossoneri TV, please make sure you do so. Like I said, 2 games coming up in this next week. The games against Rijeka, that's going to be in the Europa League group stages on Thursday at the San Siro. And against Roma on Sunday, also to be played at the San Siro. That's in the Serie A, of course. Once again, thank you for watching. I'll be seeing you guys once again very soon. And as always, Forza Milan.